Hey guys, welcome back. What I'm going to get into now is making the fiberglass seat pan. Now I've fitted my cowling up, it's bolted into place. It still needs a bit of fine tuning to get that exactly right, but I can do that after the fact. Tank's bolted in. I have made I just got to do a tiny bit more on this. I've just got to chamfer the edges, but that's going to sit inside the fiberglass and it'll just slot in here. It's our front latching point, and then there's our rear latching point there. Now I've got our fiberglass kit. I have some left over that I'll use first, but then I've got some more here, and I got a roller this time. I didn't have a roller when I made the cowling, and I think it's going to come out a lot better with the roller. So anyway, I'm going to get into this. Now I've watched some videos online on how to do this because I've never made a seat pan before. But I'm going to do what they recommend and just sort of see how things go. It's pretty crazy when you actually look how big the original seat is. Anyway, so the original seat latch, the hook part, is here. So I'm going to cut this out and we're going to reuse this, but we're going to have to shorten it because obviously the new seat doesn't sit nearly as far away from it as this one does. So we're going to cut that out, and then we have to figure out the distance in here. I'm going to have to probably cut it really short. Okay, so what I did there was I just laid some tape flat across how the seat pan's going to go, because I need to cut this short and re-weld it so that it clips into the latch nice and tight. So I'm just going to cut it off, remove a piece, and then weld it back on. Here we go, shortened up. We'll chuck it in, and well, now we'll fit the tank and the cowling, and we'll see how we'll make this thing work. Alright, there we go, got the cowling on. Still need to do some fine tuning with my bolt holes and that, but that's fine. I've got tank on, it's all bolted up, so I need to figure out some sort of a catch that'll go in here in the in that slot, and then obviously the latch which we've made here. Just slot in there. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to tape it up and sort of see how that's going to work. Now all you see me doing here is just rubbing on a releasing agent. It's just a bit of beeswax to help aid in taking the fiberglass off of the mold when it's dried. Now as you put on your layers of fiberglass, you want to just lay your first piece of mat on and then start putting your resin on, and you just want to put, if you've got a lot, use as much as you can without running out. Just build up a nice thick layer, get it nice and wet so that it molds into all the places you're trying to get it in, because obviously there's a few different nooks and crannies. If there's bolts or anything underneath, you need to mold around those. Now that I've done 2 layers, I'm going to place in my rear catch and the front catch, and then I'm going to mix up a fresh batch and then put a further 2 layers of mat on top of the latches that I've just put in, and resin it really nice and thick around them to ensure they don't move or come loose once the seat pan's finished. Now I'm just using the roller to roll out any bubbles, make sure that there's no air pockets between the layers of fiberglass, because those will become a weak point in the future. Okay, so man, it is so hot in the garage. It's summer here in New Zealand and muggy as anything, but I didn't want to open the big garage door because then the lighting's really bad for the video. Anyway, so fiberglass is done. I've put on 4 layers. 4 layers? 5 layers. 1, 2, 4 layers. Alright, so I put 2 layers on, put in my rear latch, the front hook, and then I laid another 2 layers on top of that. I'm pretty sure 4 layers is going to be plenty. If not, I can always add a layer on top. But anyway, I hope it works well. I think I've done a pretty good job. I'm pretty happy with how it looks. I then also put an extra little bit of a layer around here. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to cut it right along the edge of the tank though, and then obviously up along the edge of the cowling. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Be interesting to see how it goes. How long does it say it takes to dry? I imagine it's probably going to be dry in 30 minutes to an hour tops. But anyway, I'll see you when it's dry. Okay, so fiberglass is set now. I'm going to try and remove it and see how it fit up. Bingo! Ooh, I'm pretty pleased. So when I did the buck for the cowling, I didn't put any release agent down because I watched the guy online do it with just packing tape, like for boxing up, for sealing boxes, just that clear tape, and I used that and it was a real struggle to get it off. So this time I just went inside. I didn't buy a releasing agent. All I did was use this stuff, leather food. So that's just the that's just the wax that I use on my boots. So don't go out and spend money on really expensive release agents. You can just use any old beeswax that you've got lying around. Flip it over. There's my rear latch and the tab for the front. It's all turned out really well. It was a bit difficult to get out because the resin had leached onto the catch. But anyway, that released way better off there now, and now I'm going to pull all the tape off, and we will see about tracing out and cutting it. Jeez Louise. Okay, so something I didn't really talk about before I started the seat pan was you have to allow for a bit on the edges for your upholstery, because obviously the upholsterer has to stretch the fabric over the sides. That'll take up a couple of mils, and also sometimes they have to put a thin layer of foam over the edge just to stop it from tearing the material when they pull it tight. So what I did that you guys probably didn't see, because you'll see here there's a gap in there about 4 mil, I'd say. It's hard to see in the camera. And then I've obviously left a gap at the front here, and I'm still going to trim these sides up a little bit to get where I want it to be. But that was to allow the fabric to fold over and sit nicely. Otherwise, you have it nice and flush, you put your fabric over, and then you go to click your seat in and the thing that won't fit properly. Alright guys, so that wraps up what I was trying to make for this episode. The seat cowling has been mounted, the bolts, the holes have been drilled, and the big thing that I did with it was obviously body fill it, cover it with the bog, and then sand it back and put more on and sand it back. There's still a bit of fine tuning to do. It doesn't quite fit how I want to, but that's just final touches I'll do before paint. I have to just fill in around the holes there and take a little bit off the rear mounting point because it's hitting. And then obviously the next thing I did was build my seat pan. I'm very pleased with how that's turned out. So if I reach underneath here and pull the latch, the rear pops out, and then it's just a case of giving it a bit of a wiggle, which I'm going to sort out. It's just a bit of resin stuck on the tab, and there it is. So all my electronics will go in the tray and the batteries in the under the cowling. So that means if I have a flat battery or I blow a fuse or something out on the road, instead of having to carry a tool set to unbolt the seat base, which was my original plan, I've in fact stolen the rear latch and the latch mechanism off the original seat, and yeah, just had to make up this tab for the front, and then it's just a case of wedging the front tab in its spot there and then pushing down on the rear, and it's all good. Yeah, very pleased with how that's turned out. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of the WLF1 build. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe, like, write some comments, any thoughts that you've got about the build, any suggestions. I'm always open to that, and just for a chat. And then go over to my Instagram as well, which is just Hungry Wolf Motorcycles. Follow me there. I post up a few different stories and pictures there. So thank you very much, and have a good day.